When the Supreme Court handed down the Citizens United free speech ruling, some responses were a tad bizarre.
Any political science fiction nightmare you can now dream up, no matter whether you are conservative or liberal, it is now legal.
Do you want foreign powers to dictate and influence what direction our country is going in?
The corporations? They've got to have rights.
It is the Dark Ages. It is our Dred Scott.
The overwrought responses should be put in proper perspective. So the Center for Competitive Politics presents What Citizens United Didn't Say.
Has become one of the most important free speech cases ever. But very few people had even heard of Hillary the movie until last year when the U.S. government banned the film and its ads from airing on TV.
Though Citizens United was a free speech case about the government's ability to ban books, films, TV shows, and other electronic media, the critics seem to believe the decision was about something else entirely.
Do conservatives think that corporations are actual people?
Corporations should be treated as individual Americans.
This decision rides on the crazy argument that corporations should be treated the same as people and get the same rights that real people get.
I mean, do they really think that corporations have a conscience?
Citizens United does not say that corporations are people. What it makes clear is that people who form corporations have the right to speak, and people who vote and who listen to campaigns have the right to hear.
If that were the only bizarre claim about Citizens United, we could wrap up here. But
even foreign-controlled corporations seeking to influence our democracy are able to spend freely in order to swing an election toward a candidate they prefer.
I guess since everything else is made in China, why not our elections too?
Last week, the Supreme Court reversed a century of law that I believe will open the floodgates for special interests, including foreign corporations, to spend without limit in our elections.
The fact is, after Citizens United, the U.S. subsidiaries of foreign companies will be able to spend as much as they want in our elections, even if they are under foreign control.
I don't think American elections should be bankrolled by America's most powerful interests, or worse, by foreign entities.
Citizens United does not allow foreign corporations to spend money in U.S. elections. There's a separate provision of the law which prohibits that, which the Supreme Court specifically said it was not addressing in the case, and there are Federal Election Commission regulations that regulate that in enormous detail, what even subsidiaries of foreign corporations can do.
But there's still another claim about Citizens United that is so bizarre that it's made largely only by one constitutional law professor.
It gave the special interests the power to spend without limit and without public disclosure to run ads in order to influence elections.
This is a very odd claim indeed, especially when you consider that the leading opinion in the Citizens United case singles out disclosure as a reasonable regulation.
Citizens United did not change the disclosure laws. People say it allowed unlimited, undisclosed contributions. That's not true. It didn't change the disclosure laws a bit. It simply allowed new people to make expenditures, people who previously had been barred by law from speaking about politics. What Citizens United is really about is whether the government is going to censor speech, right? I think the First Amendment was intended to keep government out of that business of deciding who's spoken too much and who's not spoken enough. And what Justice Kennedy recognized in his majority opinion is that it's not only the speaker whose rights are at issue, it's our rights as voters, as citizens, to hear these points of views. We're the ones who get to decide if it's worth our hearing or not the government. We're the ones who decide if we think that information should influence our vote or not the government. And once you go down the road of saying, we can't trust the people with this information. If they hear from these folks, they might be persuaded. Once you do that, you've pretty much written off American democracy.
For more information, visit campaignfreedom.org.